Though once upon a time, Tom and his friends Angela, Ben, Hank, Ginger, and Becca were living their usual fun-filled life in their cozy home. Everything was going smoothly until strange and terrifying things began to happen around the house, leaving no one unaffected. They had never experienced anything like this before. But one night, they all gathered in the living room to watch a movie. Though Angela preferred classical music, she agreed to watch a horror film this time. Hank, who usually loved comedies, was just happy to spend time with his friends. Ginger, being the youngest, didn't care much about fear, as long as he could hang out with Tom. Becca, on the other hand, was fearless as always, scoffing at the idea that anything could truly scare her. As the movie started, everyone's eyes were glued to the screen. The early scenes introduced evil spirits and dark forces, but it all seemed like just another film to them. As the story progressed, eerie sounds began to mix with the film's soundtrack, but soon the sounds felt too real, like they were coming from inside the house itself. This was different from anything they'd ever experienced. Suddenly, the front door slammed open with a loud bang. Ginger jumped up from the couch, his heart racing. "It's probably just the wind," he said, trying to reassure himself. But everyone knew that couldn't be true. All the windows were closed, and there was no draft. The group exchanged uneasy glances, sensing that something was very wrong. Becca, as usual, remained unbothered and laughed it off. "It's nothing, just a coincidence," she said, trying to calm the others. But this wasn't just a coincidence. As the film reached its climax, the television abruptly turned off. Silence filled the room. Everyone sat frozen in their seats. Tom grabbed the remote and pressed the power button, but the TV remained dead. He tried again, nothing. Then, a soft creaking sound came from the hallway, as if someone or something was creeping up the stairs. Hank's voice trembled as he broke the silence. "This isn't a joke, right? Who's doing this?" His face was pale with fear. Angela, usually calm and collected, felt her fur stand on end as she strained to listen to the strange noises. "I've heard these sounds before," she whispered. "There's something wrong here." Then, realizing they couldn't just sit and wait for something to happen, Tom stood up, his paws trembling slightly, and led the group toward the hallway where the noise had come from. But when they reached the stairs, nothing was there. The hallway was dimly lit, shrouded in shadows. The uneasy silence only made things worse. Just then, Ginger let out a scream. "Something touched my foot," he shrieked, jumping back and nearly toppling over. Everyone rushed to his side, checking the area around him, but there was nothing, no sign of anything out of the ordinary. They looked at each other, unsure of what was happening. Tom spoke up, trying to remain calm. "We need to stick together. We'll be fine if we don't separate." At that moment, Ben, always the rational one, tried to explain things scientifically. "This could be electromagnetic interference or just our minds playing tricks on us. There's no such thing as ghosts or spirits. Science explains everything." But Ben's logical explanations didn't ease anyone's fears, especially since the atmosphere in the house seemed to grow heavier by the minute. Suddenly, the windows in the living room flung open with a deafening crash, and a powerful gust of wind rushed inside. The wind was so fierce that it knocked over everything in its path. Becca, standing closest to the window, tried to shut it, but some invisible force shoved her back. She hit the floor hard, but there was nothing, no one there. Angela, realizing the situation was becoming more dangerous, spoke up. "There's something seriously wrong here. We need to get out of this house and figure out what's going on." The others quickly agreed, and they cautiously moved toward the staircase, searching room by room for answers. And when they reached the bedroom, the most horrifying thing happened. In the center of the room, a large dark shadow formed, taking the shape of a monstrous figure. Its eyes glowed, reflecting scenes of past events, as though it had been watching them for a long time. Tom froze, his body paralyzed with fear as he stared into the creature's glowing eyes. The figure spoke in a deep, haunting voice. "You have lived in this house, but it was never yours. This was my home. As long as you stay here, I will never let you be at peace." The friends were all speechless. They had never encountered anything like this before. Angela, summoning her courage, shouted at the figure, "Why are you haunting us? We've done nothing to harm you." The figure's voice boomed louder. "I am the one who decides who can live in this house. If you wish to survive, you must leave immediately." Tom, shaken but determined to protect his friends, turned to them. "Maybe we should leave. This isn't our house. We must have disturbed something. Let's go." But Ben, refusing to believe in such supernatural phenomena, protested we have to be rational. There's no such thing as spirits. This is all just some scientific phenomenon, maybe magnetic fields affecting our perception. Before Ben could finish his argument, the shadowy figure lashed out, knocking over more objects in the room. Becca, ignoring Ben's words, shouted over the chaos, "Enough of this. We need to leave now." The friends rushed out of the house, panting and shaken as they reached the safety of the outdoors. The cool night air felt calming compared to the oppressive atmosphere they had just escaped. Tom looked up at the starry sky and turned to his friends. "We'll never forget what happened tonight, but we'll grow stronger because of it." The group nodded in agreement, still catching their breath from the terrifying ordeal. They knew they would never return to that house. The night had left its mark on them, and they were ready to find a new place to call home, somewhere free from the shadows of the past. As they walked away, they couldn't shake the feeling that the house was watching them, still waiting for its next unsuspecting visitors.